So behind me there's a purple and green building, and that's where I used to live when I first came to Japan back in 1991, so 25 years ago. And I've just made a video of myself kind of foolishly wandering around thinking that that building had been torn down because I couldn't locate it on Google Maps. But I realized I had taken, on Google Maps, left a little bit too early and just missed it. And it's been here all this time. It's still there. I think I was in 104. I might have been in 102. I can't remember. But the little laundromat, the little coin laundry thing right across from the apartments is still there. And in the previous video I mentioned that there was an Italian restaurant that seems to have gone, and that it was a lifesaver. So my first winter holiday in Japan, like 10, 12 days off, nobody told me that at that time in Japan, everything closed for the winter holiday, even small convenience stores. McDonald's was closed, the banks were closed, the ATMs were closed, most of the small convenience stores were closed, and I was sitting in my apartment with no phone and no food. And also no money. But luckily, I was able to get a hold of one of my coworkers. I had some numbers, and she lent me 10,000 yen. And I was able to use that to buy, I think I was eating like an 8-piece loaf of bread, 1 piece a day, and drinking like a glass of orange juice and lots of water, trying to stretch out this carton of juice I had, trying to make it through the winter holiday. But I got money from her, and I was able to go to that Italian restaurant and have their Italian hamburger steak with tomato sauce and cheese a couple of times. So literally, that restaurant was a lifesaver. So I think it's a case of thinking that whatever you're used to is going to be commonplace and the same everywhere else. And of course, in Canada, everything being closed on a Sunday in a small town back then, and even now, and even in Regina in the city, pretty much every, shop would be closed on a Sunday for most of the day. Of course, that wasn't happening in Japan, but in Japan, ATMs would stop working at 9 and at 6 on holidays, and everything was shut down in Golden Week and in the New Year's holiday, especially the New Year's holiday, for several days. And nobody mentioned that at work because I think they assumed that I would know, but it's not something that I would have been familiar with because it's not the same kind of custom that we would have in Canada. So I always made sure to let teachers know to take out lots of money before Golden Week, before the weekend, because ATMs would close at 6. Take out lots of money before the winter holiday to make sure you could get through the winter holiday without running out of cash. Make sure you had food, stuff you could eat. Don't have to do that so much now. Things have changed a lot, and now most things are still open, except for maybe 1 or 2 days, like January 1st. A lot of things might be closed, or they might close earlier than usual, but it's very different now. ATMs, though, still stop at 9 or at 12 or at 6. They're not open 24 hours unless you go to a convenience store and pay the fee for using the ATM at the convenience store, which I think is annoying, because I'd rather just use the ATM at my bank. But that's one thing that hasn't changed. ATMs at banks are not 24 hours anymore, although they are open for limited hours on national holidays, so they obviously don't need staff there to make sure they function. Just a lack of service. But anyway, I found my old apartment building here. And now I'm going to go back to Sagamiono Station. Ciao.